was great. And they won that game. He crossed the goal line. They won that frickin' game. That's when you do those things. All right, friends, are you ready for some fun? Well, you may have come to the wrong place, because I'm going to recap the 2025 Vikings season. And I've gone through a lot of the games, a lot of the clips. I couldn't make it through all the Carson Wentz ones, I confess. But going back and watching this 2025 season, which admittedly was not the most exciting Vikings season of all time, I felt a little like Brian Regan, who's an amazing stand-up comedian. And he has an old bit about watching fishing on TV.
I like watching fishing on TV. You ever? That'll make you worry about yourself. You ever watch fishing on TV for like 15 minutes and then just go, boy, I better get a life?
And you're just like, what has happened to my life? What am I doing with my life?
I'm watching fishing. I'm not even fishing, I'm watching fishing. Too lazy to fish.
That's kind of how it was. I'm like, what? Why am I watching this again?
I'm taping fishing to watch again later. Come on over, I got a fishing tape. No, a new one.
Why am I watching Max Brosmer again? You know, it's just, you start to question your life choices. But I'm going to put it together in a way that hopefully it's not like watching fishing on TV. It's like watching someone who watches fishing on TV have a mental breakdown. First, I'm going to go through the people. So the biggest disappointments, I have 5 biggest disappointments and some honorable mentions. Then I have the top performers. I have 5 of them as well, and only 1 honorable mention. And then get into the actual plays of the year. So the worst plays of the year, and I actually have more than 5, a lot more than 5. And then the top plays of the year. We'll close it out with the top plays. We'll close it out with some positivity if you can make it that far. So let's do this. Let's go. Biggest disappointments. Let's start with the honorable mentions. Number 1 honorable mention is Jordan Addison. I think he started the year suspended for, I don't know if it was a DUI or driving 800 miles an hour in a school zone or whatever it was. But just kind of showing himself to be kind of an unreliable head case, and in general, not making all the plays during the season, dropping some passes. Didn't necessarily have the best throws all the time, but he had a couple of just really, really bad drops throughout the year. And, you know, I'm just not seeing greatness out of him. He was a first-round pick, plays like a late-round pick, in my opinion. Another disappointment is TJ Hawkinson. Not that I expected anything out of him, but really it's just you get nothing from him. People say it's the knee injury. He's never been the same since the knee. It's like, these are not your knees. These don't work for him. So it's not the knee. He just can't catch. Another honorable mention for disappointments is Byron Murphy. He got a lot of money. And again, not that I expected anything out of him, not that I thought he was any good, but he just wasn't really good. On a defense that really excelled for much of the year, he was kind of one of the weak links, I thought. And last honorable mention, this guy, you know, I kind of want to put him in the actual list because it's a joke that we even brought him in, but Adam Thielen. He came in, all you'd hear is him whining. He'd whine to the officials or whine that they're not throwing him the ball. And I want to go somewhere and win a Super Bowl. I want to have a chance at a Super Bowl. It's like you're not at that level, Adam. You're not at that level.
You're not good.
His act wore thin, and then seeing him in the playoffs for the Steelers, again, not doing much. Disappointment, Adam Thielen. Now we'll get into the actual list. Okay, this is taking a while here. This is going to be a long video. Number 5, disappointment, Justin Jefferson. Kind of goes without saying. He didn't have a real strong year. Certainly, it's not all his fault. They just couldn't figure out a way to get him the ball. Quarterback position was not helping him, but he had some pretty poor efforts on some key plays, I would say, also. And just the idea that he's this great leader. which I don't see at all. At all. His body language, everything. When things go down, when things go south, you can always read it. He does not have a poker face. And what you need is a leader to have a bit of a poker face. So when things go bad, you can't tell he kind of wants to jump off a bridge, you know? Number 4 biggest disappointment is J.J. McCarthy. You know, I didn't have high expectations for him, being that it's his first year actually playing on the field. I thought it'd be very uneven at best, and I also just didn't think he was this, you know, amazing first-round talent that, you know, a lot of Vikings fans feel they have to believe about their quarterback. So disappointing. But really the disappointment with him, it's not so much the play on the field. If it was just the play on the field being uneven, I don't think he'd even be on this list. But it's the injuries. Can't stay healthy, can't stay healthy, can't stay healthy. And honestly, he could even be higher on this list. And actually, maybe he is. Number 3, the offensive line. Disappointing. We supposedly revamped the offensive line, and they just fell apart. Early on in the season, late in the season, guys getting hurt. Forget the guy. Was it the center or somebody's might have to retire because of just, I think, concussions. Really disappointing that the O-line couldn't stay healthy. And of course, Darasaw, he's just always kind of hurt. I mean, he had a really bad injury last year, but it's over a year later, and it seems like he's not really over it. And maybe he'll never be over it. So that's a big problem. But is it all the O-line? Or is the O-line put in position to get killed by the number 2 disappointment, Kevin O'Connell? You know, this is a year the Vikings went 9-8. I didn't even know going into the last game. After the last game, I didn't even know they had finished above 500. I thought they'd finished 8-9. And to find out they went 9-8 in a season when they were completely carried by their defense. And their head coach has pretty much nothing to do with the defense. I don't know. Kevin O'Connell brought nothing to the table. The O-line got killed. I think a lot of that is his play calling. Putting J.J. McCarthy or Carson Wentz or whoever back there with these slow developing pass plays to get killed. Refusing to run the ball when you actually have a run game. And when your O-line is healthy and can run block, and you just decide you're just gonna start throwing and throw it away. Kevin O'Connell, number 2 disappointment. Now, who's the number 1 disappointment? Well, I said J.J. McCarthy might show up again on this list. Well, number 1 disappointment, the 9. The 9. That's kind of when I think everything went south, started to go south. There's a turning point where it's like, oh, crap. Oh, crap. We've crossed a line here. When J.J. McCarthy revealed his 9 persona. And I can't even remember, was that after he came back from the sprained ankle? I don't even remember. I just know when I heard about it, and I think when we heard about it, it's just like, whoa, this is not good. And yet you have a lot of these Vikings fans on social media, go 9, the 9 is taking us all the way. No, this is a horrible thing. This is an immature poser. And if J.J. McCarthy is going to be a solid NFL quarterback, let alone just put aside for a minute the fact that he's injury prone. Let's say he gets over the injury thing somehow, miraculously somehow. Mentally, there is a lot of growth needed with this guy. And I hesitate to say kid because he's 22. He's not a kid, but he actually is acting like a kid. Other guys like a Drake May for New England, he's probably maybe he's 23, but they're about the same age. Does Drake May act like a kid? I don't think so. What about Caleb Williams for the Bears? That's a grown-ass man there, the way he plays. The 9, biggest disappointment. We gotta get better. Now let's get to the positive, the top performers. Unfortunately, this probably won't take as long as the disappointments. Honorable mention, Will Reichard, the kicker.
I mean, he's hired as a kicker. He should be able to kick.
As my wife would call him. He maybe should be actually in the top 5 because he had such a good year, but he's a kicker. I just can't really bring myself to put a kicker in the top 5. If you do, it's so sad. But I don't know, did he miss like 2 kicks all year maybe, and one of them hit a camera wire? So he was so reliable, something we haven't had, as in, a real reliable kicker for I don't know, a decade or more, maybe since Ryan Longwell. I mean, it's been a long time. And to have someone who you put him back there and you feel like he's going to make the kick, even if it's 50 plus yards, it's nice to have. It's too bad we don't get to see him line up for a big kick in the playoffs. Number 5, top performer, Jalen Naylor. So I named off two of the Vikings wide receivers as disappointments. Jalen Naylor was kind of the bright spot in the wide receiver core. And I think if you look back at his stats, I don't think they're that impressive. I don't think he had huge numbers, but he just made a lot of big plays. And he's kind of the one guy with some burst, some speed. I still don't think he quite has the level of speed that we've had in the past with guys who can just take it to the house. That's something we're really missing. But he had a good year, and he had a big catch in that first Detroit game to seal it. Number 4, top performer, I say Isaiah Rodgers, cornerback. I don't think he had like a great year all the way through, but he had that Bengals game where he basically owned that. He won that game himself. I mean, I think he scored 2 touchdowns. Did he force 3 turnovers? It was just like insane, the game he had. There was also a great play where I think against the Commanders, he had this just awesome block on Jaden Daniels on Andrew Van Ginkel's return. And just overall, he brought a little bit of life, a little bit of speed, a little bit of burst to that Vikings secondary that has been lacking for a long time. Number 3, Jordan Mason. This guy can run the ball. I don't know if he's got it in him to be an every down back, a 20, 25 carry a game guy. But man, when he was in there, with that O-line and with Jordan Mason, they could run the ball until Kevin O'Connell decided they were going to stop randomly and kill the drive. But Jordan Mason, love seeing him run the ball. Number 2, top performer, linebacker, Eric Wilson. Eric Wilson, on a year when the defense really excelled, Eric Wilson even rose above the flock there. He was they talk about guys being all over the field. And Eric Wilson, he's been a Viking in the past. I don't remember that much from him. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention. But he seemed way better this year than he's ever been. And I don't know if he's got some better nutrition or what, but I just thought he was making plays left and right and just really disruptive on the field. It was great to see. A bright spot, Eric Wilson. And the number 1 top performer, Brian Flores. Maybe I'm cheating here, picking a coach, but I put O'Connell in the disappointments. Brian Flores, I don't think that defense is just loaded with talent. Van Ginkel, he's a great player. Probably Cashman's a good player. Eric Wilson played out of his lights out. The linebacking core was solid. Harrison Smith is older than dirt. The rest of the secondary is nothing special. The line is nothing special. Yet, this defense, I think they didn't give up a passing touchdown, I think, for like half the year or something. It was like this amazing streak. How does a team that just isn't loaded with superstars such a good defense? We got to give credit to Brian Flores, the number 1 top performer for the Vikings in 2025. Biggest disappointment, the 9. Top performer, Brian Flores. Okay, friends, we're going to talk through the 2025 Vikings season, the top plays and the worst plays. And just so you know, there's more worst plays than there are top plays. We're going to start with the worst plays. And I have 10 worst plays and 1 honorable mention. So this is going to take a little while. Now, my honorable mention is just Carson Wentz. Like any play that involved Carson Wentz, I'm putting is honorable mention for worst plays of the year. No offense to Carson Wentz, and not that he played that horrible. Like he did what he could, right? He played like Carson Wentz. Very, very, very mediocre, and got killed behind that O-line and that Kevin O'Connell play calling. But it was just very unpleasant. I felt watching that Carson Wentz-led offense. So, honorable mention, worst plays, anything with Carson Wentz. Number 10, worst play.
They've gone on to successful seasons. Now, what will McCarthy do? First throw of the night is deflected, batted, and intercepted. So McCarthy tipped it, trying to knock it back down, but it ricochets to the hands, I believe, of Quinnen Williams. And the
This maybe could be higher. This is more a type of play, an archetype that Kevin O'Connell runs, where you start the game with either a run and then a quick pass, or a quick pass and then a run. And I don't know if this was the first or second play of the game, but O'Connell does this a lot. And this happened, I think, multiple times this year, where even if it wasn't intercepted, it would get batted down. McCarthy drops back, quick pass. Cowboys know what's coming, intercepted. Now the Vikings did come back and win that game, but I hate that play. Hate the quick pass to start the game. Hate it, hate it, hate it. Number 9, I'm cheating a little. There's 2 plays here. And it comes down to guys getting caught by slow people who shouldn't be caught. It's the lack of speed that I see. One was Isaiah Rodgers, a blocked field goal return. Forget which team it was against, but he got run down by the punter. And then, again, I forget which game it was, but where Jordan Addison, long catch. And I just made this video about explosive Vikings touchdowns, where you got guys who just outrun the defense, just down the sideline, and it's like everyone is moving in slow motion, and they just run away from everybody. And Jordan Addison can't outrun. Was it a linebacker? I forget what it was, but again, that is what the Vikings are missing. Burst, explosiveness, speed. And that's a disappointment, number 9. Number 8, this gets back to the speed thing. This is a sign of our defense not having the speed. This was DK Metcalf caught a pass in the Pittsburgh game and just took it to the house. Just catches it, and he's just gone, untouched. Was it like 70 yards maybe or more? Something like that. Again, we don't have guys who can do that. Or maybe we're not putting our players in positions to do that. But I definitely think we're lacking the speed. Lacking the speed on both sides of the ball. Number 7, worst play, and this is not his fault, but Will Reichard's kick hitting the wire. Can't remember, was that in Europe that happened? And then the NFL wouldn't acknowledge that it hit a wire. They just wouldn't acknowledge. Like, it was like this weird like propaganda thing. It's like professional wrestling now. It's professional wrestling. It's just sports entertainment. We can have balls hit wires. All this stuff can go wrong. We'll pretend it didn't happen. We gotta kayfabe it. So that was a sad play to see. Maybe Will Reichard would be in the Pro Bowl if he hadn't had that miss on his record. He isn't in the Pro Bowl, right? I don't think any Vikings are in the Pro Bowl. And that gets back to that Vikings defense. No Pro Bowlers. Yet they have this great performance on defense. It's got to be Brian Flores. Number 6 worst play. I mean, Carson Wentz didn't make this list, but there's another backup who made the list. That's Max Brosmer. I mean, you could take your pick a lot, but there's one play that stood out. I think it was in the last game of the year against the Packers. He's in the game because J.J. McCarthy took himself out. Wanted to be seen taking himself out of the game with his hand. And then Max Brosmer, he drops back, trips over his own lineman, thinks he's down by contact, but he's not, stands up, thinks the play's over, gets stripped. Let's strip Max Brosmer of his position on this team, please. Next, Brock Purdy. Next, Turd Ferguson, more like. Number 4, JJ's performance in the last game. JJ McCarthy. I'm cheating again. There's a couple plays. It's really the taunting. Maybe the taunting is the worst one. Taunting the cornerback it's not just that the Packers basically have nothing to play for, and you're taunting them in a game. They're already in the playoffs, and you're not, and you're taunting them. But you're also driving. You are in Packers territory. You are driving, and your taunt kills that drive. And they're in your head. They're in your head. You got to get in their head. You got to get them to get the taunting penalty. So that's one. And then just the taking himself out of the game. Like he's like this big production of him leaving the game. Like he's, John Elway leaving the field for the last time or whatever. Embarrassing. Number 3, we're sticking with J.J. McCarthy here. Worst plays. J.J. had a couple bad interceptions, a number of them, which he's a rookie. Basically rookie. It's second year, but his first year playing. We understand that's going to happen. Kids got to learn. But when you throw an interception and on the return, when you're kind of giving up and you do a somersault, that should not happen. So that happened on 2 interception returns. One ended up not counting. One was a pick 6 that got called back because of some ticky-tack penalty, I think. But there were 2 instances, pick 6s, where JJ does a somersault. And then I think there was a sack where he did a somersault. There were at least 3 plays where he did some stupid somersault. And just like, stop. Grow up. Act like a man. Number 2 worst play is one that may or may not have ended the Vikings season. It was the kickoff return. The Vikings came back in the second Bears game to take the lead 17-16. I think there's less than a minute left. They kick off. And of course, all you got to do is not let them just don't let them return the kick. Don't let them get a big kick return. I think the Bears have a really good returner, so don't kick it to him. What do? They kick it to him. He has this massive return, returns it to across the 50 to the 40 or something, like 60-plus yard return. Bears get a field goal to win it. And if the Vikings had won that game and won the rest of their games as they ended up doing, I believe they would have won the division. Now, having said that, if they won that Bears game, things may not have played out the way they ended up playing out. And that Packers game may have had meaning. Packers may have played all their starters. Vikings may have lost that. Packers game it's not as if the Vikings were guaranteed to make the playoffs if they don't allow that kick return. But I don't know, the fact that they allowed that kick return, it's kind of like, yeah, that probably tells you they shouldn't have been in the playoffs. And they shouldn't. Vikings were not really a playoff team. And the worst play of the year, this is one I have trouble even talking about. This is one of those Kevin O'Connell specials. And I see other teams doing this now too. And maybe this has been a thing for a while. But the whole direct snap to the tight end and sneak it. So the Vikings are running it down the Packers' throat. This was in the first Packers game. The Vikings are really running the ball. They got momentum. 3rd and 1. I think Jordan Mason had just had like a 7 or 8 yard run to make it 3rd and 1. And Vikings line up, and then TJ Hawkinson comes up to behind the center, takes the snap, and gets stuffed. There's a lot of things wrong with that. I just inherently don't like the play call. I'm kind of tired of the quarterback sneak. I would outlaw sneaking. It's an ugly, ugly play. I would get rid of it. But TJ Hawkinson, I think you'd have a much better chance of getting that first down with Justin Jefferson taking the direct snap. I think you'd have a better chance with J.J. McCarthy taking the direct snap. I think you could create a list of players who would be better than T.J. Hawkinson. John Oliver, different tight end. There's three guys at least who I'd have do it over T.J. Hawkinson. But Kevin O'Connell, I don't know. He's gotta let everyone get involved. Everyone gets a trophy. Participation trophy. That's what the Vikings got this year. Maybe if they don't do the 3rd and 1 snap to Hawk, maybe if somebody else does it, maybe they pick up that first down. Maybe they win that Packers game. Maybe things are different. You need a coach who makes good decisions. Okay, that was a lot of bad plays. That was a lot of bad. I'm feeling kind of down. So let's go through some good plays. And I kind of had to, I don't know. These are not all S-tier good plays, we'll say. I had to bring some in that maybe wouldn't have made the cut in prior years. But I have six top plays and no honorable mentions. There weren't enough to have honorable mentions, honestly. Number 6, this is, really scraping the bottom of the barrel here, but I think Justin Jefferson had 2 touchdown catches all year. And one of them was really good against Detroit. Kind of in the side of the end zone, over the defender, really good. The type of catch you need a good, great receiver to make. He made a great catch, and my wife had a great reaction to that.
Wow, that was some catch. Wow.
Kind of like Charlotte's Web, some pig, some catch.
What?
So, Justin Jefferson, let's see more of that next year, please. Let's see more of it. And let's be smart about it when we throw to him. Okay, let's not just throw it to him just to throw it to him. Let's get him in space. Let's get our receivers in space. Get him the ball when they're moving so they can run after the catch. Are these the best plays or the worst? Why am I so angry when talking about the best plays? Number 5, the Andrew Van Ginkel. I think it was an interception return against the Commanders. He didn't bring it to the house, but it was exciting. And what made it the best was the block Isaiah Rodgers made on Jaden Daniels and just threw him down like a rag doll. And just see this little cornerback throw Jaden Daniels down. And it wasn't like a crackback, a blindside block. It wasn't dirty, and it wasn't particularly violent. And that's what I like. I don't want to see guys get trucked or blown up. I just thought it was just kind of like a nice threw him down in it was almost like an artistic, like ballet, the way he threw him down. And that play, Van Ginkel is exciting. The block was exciting play. The defense brought some excitement this year. That was a top play. Number 4, we got more from Isaiah Rodgers. You could probably pick a few of his plays from that Bengals game, but the main one was he stripped the guy, recovered it, picked it up, ran it to the house, and ran to the house with such speed. This is one of those, if I had included touchdowns from this year in that video about the top most explosive Vikings touchdowns the past 30 years, this one would be in it. This one was one where he picks it up and he just outruns everyone down the sideline. Just creates separation. They're never going to catch him, even if they have the angle. That was a great play. It was great to see a guy just make plays. A guy on the defense in the secondary who can make big plays. And we didn't see necessarily a lot of that from him after that game, but those are the guys we need. Playmakers. It's not about being slightly above average on every play. It's about being S-tier when you need to be S-tier. Number 3 is the throw that iced it against the Lions. J.J. McCarthy to Jalen Nailor. Vikings, I think, had a 10-point lead, and then they, of course, let Detroit go right down the field and score a touchdown to cut it to 3 points, 27-24. Vikings have the ball. Things aren't looking good. It's 3rd down. They need a first down to ice it. Otherwise, they got to give the ball back to Detroit, and who knows? Maybe Detroit ends up going down and winning the game. McCarthy drops back. Perfect back shoulder throw to Nailor. And the call. I don't know who the announcer was, but the call.
3rd down. First down would win it. McCarthy throwing it. Nailor! Oh, he caught it!
The call.
McCarthy throwing it. Nailor! Oh, he caught it!
That's what you love. A great call, great excitement, the voice cracking, everything.
McCarthy throwing it. Oh, he caught it!
An announcer who knows how big the play is and how important the play is and what a clutch play it was. Everything about that was great. Love it. Number 2, kind of a polarizing play here maybe, but it's JJ crossing the goal line against the Cowboys in front of Jerry Jones, grittying across the goal line. Maybe O'Connell didn't like it. Maybe I'm a little hypocritical for criticizing JJ for some of his immature stuff and then liking this. But, okay, it's totally different when in the first quarter you're driving and you kill a drive by taunting somebody, compared to you are crossing the goal line untouched to score. Those are two completely different things. It is not at all hypocritical for me to praise him for this. Maybe he should win a few more games, stay healthy a little longer before he starts doing all that. But I don't know. That was great. And they won that game. He crossed the goal line. They won that frickin' game. That's when you do those things. And then number 1, the top play of the year, in my opinion. The play that really gave me the most euphoria. That gave me the most hope. We got to go back to week 1.
In motion. McCarthy keeps. He's got it. And forces his way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Started really bad. At Chicago Monday night. Started really bad. McCarthy throws a pick 6. He just looks so bad. He looks so bad. And you're thinking, well, how can he come back from this? Touchdown. They cut the Bears' lead. Another touchdown. They take the lead. And then they're driving again. And JJ takes it and runs it into the end zone. And that's the top play. JJ crossing the goal line in that first Bears game to put that game away. To put the cherry on the top of that comeback. And the year didn't play out that well. You know, he had injuries. He had uneven play. But at that moment, when he led that comeback, I was like, oh my gosh, maybe we got something here. Maybe we got a winner. Maybe we finally got a winner in that quarterback position who we can ride for years. And not some Kohl's wife shopping at Kohl's middle management dork. Maybe we got a real stud there. And unfortunately, I don't see it now. The injury thing, the immaturity, maybe it's not there, but my gosh. You talk about top play. Leading that comeback in Chicago Monday night, your first ever start, running it into the end zone. That was a big moment. And even 5 years from now, 10 years from now, I will probably remember that play. So, that's the 2025 Vikings season. Probably more than you asked for, more than you wanted. Maybe you're not even watching. And if you're not watching, I don't know who I'm talking to at this point. But hopefully it was better than watching fishing on TV. Anyway, it was not a great year. But honestly, I felt way worse at the end of last year than I did at the end of this year. Because basically, with Kevin O'Connell, there was 2022 and 2024, where the Vikings had such a great regular season record in both those years. And they just did nothing in the playoffs. And they kind of petered out in both those years. Like last year, they fell apart in the last week, the last regular season game. And I was crushed. Like, I was just like, I'm done. Like, I can't. Kevin O'Connell, I'm done with Kevin O'Connell. And I think this year showed why. But honestly, this year is more just about trying to find a way to be entertained and trying to find a little bit of joy in a lousy season, looking at the good. JJ winning a few games in an exciting fashion. the Bears game, first Bears game, the Cowboys game, the first Detroit game. We just focus on those things. We had some good. And if we could just, I don't know, find a way to involve our best player a little better, Justin Jefferson, maybe we can be a little better next year. Maybe we can use our run game better. Maybe we can do a lot of things.
And at the end of the fishing show, they roll credits. There are like 90 people involved with the two guys fishing. What are they all doing? And one of the credits is film editor. This poor guy. He's got to watch all the footage that's not exciting enough to make it into that final show. That's got to be hell. He's got to sit there all day just going, no, 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 no. Fast forward, fast forward, fast forward. Oh. No. That was just the worm when he put the worm.